All right, guys, I have like kind of a serious topic today. I want to talk about art supplies and money, and the fact that so many of us, myself included, every time we go to Michael's or every time we go into an art store, we spend like so much money on art supplies. Like, it is a legit problem. My studio behind me everywhere is like prime example of that. So, okay, here's my challenge to you. I have come up with 10 different ways to save you money while you're crafting. There is no reason that we need to keep going to buy all these amazing art supplies. Are they amazing? Yes. Do they work well? Yes. But I guarantee you, if you're anything like me, you already have like a bazillion things in your stash that are gonna make serious art. So why do we keep buying new supplies? So let's stop the buying and let's start creating. We are creative people, and I'm going to give you 10 ways to be creative when doing your art projects and saving you a ton of money. You guys ready? Let's go. All right, guys, this is an obvious one. Let's reuse our old canvases. I know you have paintings lying around that you hate, but instead of throwing them out, get them out and repaint them. It's as easy as that. Don't buy these cute, crazy, expensive storage systems at Michael's. Go buy a piece of PVC piping from your local hardware store and make fantastic storage systems like these. It's cost effective and it's fun. Instead of buying $40 Strathmore art journals, go to your local Goodwill and buy a children's book and alter it. It costs nothing and it's fantastic. Collect your old cereal boxes, cut them up, and make your art journals out of those. I have some great tutorials on how to do all of these things, but my cereal box journal is my favorite journal to date. If you're looking for an awesome way to make those circles in the corners of your mixed media projects, which I do kind of in like a lot of my projects, all you need to do is take some bubble wrap that you get in the mail that was being used for something else to package up something. Take a little paint, put it on a sponge brush, and just lightly brush it across the bubbles. And honestly, you guys, it's better than any stencil. And you know how expensive stencils are these days? They're like, a large one is like, can be anywhere from like $8 to $15. $15! Bubble wrap is completely free. You can use it over and over again. You don't need to wash it. The paint just dries on it, and then you're good to go and you can reuse it over and over. So I use this little corner bubble technique on tons of my art journal and mixed media projects. It's freaking adorable and it doesn't cost you any money. You want the best way to make cool circles? Just use a toilet paper roll. I mean, guys, it is like, look around your environment and grab things with the right shape and stick it in some paint. Go for it. I love to use tone paper. I love to draw on it and I love to do mixed media projects with it. But instead of buying expensive recycled paper and journals, just simply tear up a grocery bag that you have kicking around and it works exactly the same way. Does this look like it's impeding my creativity? No, it's fueling it. It can do the same for you. Yeah, you guys, this is a shoebox and I made it into like my most prized possession, which is a grateful box that I'm using at Thanksgiving time for me and my family. So you don't need to buy the cardboard boxes at AC Moore. You can simply use a shoebox and go to town. You know those phone books that you're still getting? Did you know it makes the best collage material? Like the best. Like, it's exactly the same consistency as vintage paper. Only this gets delivered to your door and it's absolutely free. So one of my all-time most favorite projects I made, I started out with using discarded Hershey's chocolate wrappers that I got that were left over from Halloween, and I made just a very personal journal entry with it in my cereal box journal. So here is a great example of how you can take different pieces of trash and turn them into complete and utter treasure. And as a little bonus tip, I'm going to show you a lesson I just created that is perfect for fall. And I'm using one of my favorite substrates to use for doing mixed media work, which is, it's an old record cover. So I like to buy these at Goodwill. They're 50 cents at my Goodwill, and that includes the record that comes in it. And I melt those down and I make them into bowls. Another free way to make a cool thing, a gift, and people have bought those at my craft shows as well. And I just lay down a layer of gesso first and paint, and now I'm putting on those sheets of the telephone book that I was referencing just a few seconds ago. And this is a napkin that I bought at the dollar store. So again, you do not need to go buy those expensive scrapbooking papers. And in fact, the dollar store napkins, these dang things, work better than scrapbooking papers because they don't bleed, they're cheaper, but also I don't like to collage with super heavy papers. I find it, not annoying, but I just don't like it. I like that oh, look at that, we just learned about that, didn't we? I just like the transparency of the napkins, and they glue very easily and they rip very easily. So there's just one more tip on how to save money. I'm using just a squished up sponge. You can use a sponge from your kitchen sink to just apply a little bit of gesso. And I'm using my Stabilo All to make this cute little fall fox. Yes, I think this is gonna be one of my favorite videos of all time because it has a super cute project in it. Plus it just gives a lot of like serious content, especially with the upcoming holidays and money concerns. Like, I feel like our creativity should not be, interrupted because we can't afford some cool things. Because you guys, we can do this anyways. So I'm drawing my little cute foxy from a Pinterest reference, and then I am intentionally dragging my brush through the Stabilo, and that's just orange. And if you want to save even more money, just buy craft paint at AC Moore. When it goes on sale, it's like 88 cents. 88 cents for a couple ounces. And that is good enough to do pretty much all your projects. So I'm again intentionally having it interact with my Stabilo All pencil, and it makes it kind of like instant shading, if you will. It will darken it up, and I kind of like that little edgy, scrappy look that it gives him. I will not sacrifice on cost for my Stabilo though, but I do buy them in a 12 pack, and it does save you a bit of money, and I'll put a link in the description box for that as well. It's about $1 each if you buy them in a 12 pack. It's about $4 each if you buy them alone. So I always buy them in bulk, but I use them every day. So again, I'm just using gesso here, which is the same gesso I used in the background. This little wonderful project is just 2 colors of paint. It's orange and my gesso white, and then the Stabilo, and it gives you all that shading and all that, the grays to the whites, and all the way from the light orange to the dark. So look at him. That took me just not any time whatsoever. And this whole project cost me, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe $2 at the most. At the most. Everything was recycled or upcycled. I'm putting some Mod Podge, which is also cheap. It's much cheaper than using like Liquitex gloss varnish, which is like another alternative, or even matte medium you could use. Oh, Rosie snuck in for some petties. That's very expensive. Mod Podge is very cheap. I buy it by the gallon, and I use it, as you probably know, all the time. So using some Pitt pens and Posca pens just to add some details. You could just as easily use a Sharpie. Sorry for my headshots there, but Sharpies are cheap and they're readily available, and you could absolutely use them for these little details that I'm scribbling on with my paint pens as well. You gotta have some stamp action. Any good mixed media project has a cute quote to go with. So here we have, "You make my heart happy." Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this whole concept that we can be super creative people, and it actually makes you be more creative if you have a limited budget. So stop buying everyone's fancy new products and start thinking outside the box and coming up with creative uses for the materials that are already in your environment. Because I'm sure if you pause long enough to look around, you will see that they're absolutely everywhere. You just didn't quite take the time to notice before. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to get more weekly news, education, and inspiration. And if you're looking for some more tips on money saving and getting creative, you can check out my brand new book called Mixed Media Magic, which is out on Amazon shelves as we speak, and signed copies in my Etsy shop. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you on the flip side.